This equipment is what we rented from Home Depot. This is for cutting tiles. So we're going to use this tile cutting machine that we rented from Home Depot for cutting it out. This is a wet saw. It rents for about $37 for 4 hours. The trick with doing this is, if you don't have a whole lot of time, that you might need more than 4 hours. What you do is you try renting it over the weekend. So when you do it, end of the day Friday, let's say at 5 o'clock, the tool center closes by 7. So if you rent it by 5, it's less than the 4-hour window that they give you. So then they give you till the next day morning, 9 o'clock, when they open for you to return. So plan it that way so that you have more than 4 hours, but you're actually paying for only 4 hours of rental. So you get the time from 5 o'clock till the next day, 9 o'clock, so you have the whole evening to do it. So that's one of the ways to maximize renting it. So this one's a wet saw. I'm just going to do a trial. Now, the way it connects is, they give you, there's a bucket, you fill it up with water, then there's a pump, so you put the pump in the water, and then this wire hose goes down and connects to the machine here, and then you have the pump going there, and this plug, this is something that you will need to attach here and plug it in. Then when you want to start, you press the reset button here, and then put the switch on here. Now supposing that blows the fuse, they tell you to change the plug, and then plug point, and then do the reset over here, and then try it again. They also give you additional templates, like to make curve cuts and bevels and things like that. So that's also there. It's not just straight edge. So I'm going to try and do it. I've already marked it. You want to keep your pencil mark on the blade to come on the outside of the pencil mark, so that way you're not cutting off the main part of the tile that you want to keep. So place it in such a way that's in the middle, and then what you would do is you put it on this plate, you adjust this, so keep it tight. So the advantage with this one is that you'll be moving this, so your hands are not close to the blade. So that's one of the safety issues with this saw. They have different other saws. They have a smaller one where there's no plate like this. It's just fixed, and then you move the parts towards the blade. The problem with that is your hands are going to get very close to the blade. So that's one, and you also have a manual cutter. So whichever is comfortable for you, you can do it. Manual cutter needs more effort. It rents for half the amount of this one. But if you have a lot of cutting to do and it's kind of hard like this and it's not a glass tile, I would say it's worth renting this out. Now all the water is going to go, when you turn it on, the water is going to come and it's going to go here. Now there's a hole here, so make sure to plug that in, otherwise all the water is going to drain all over the place. So there's the plug. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this out from the bottom up. So that way your water stays here, and then you can dump it when you're done. So that's about the machine. It's not very complicated. So you adjust this, make sure this the pencil mark is like in the middle, so where your blade will come, so accordingly. Turn it on, then push the tile towards it. So you make sure the blade is running before you push the tile into it. So don't keep the tile right under the blade. You don't want that. So you want to kind of position it in place like this, and then keep it nice and tight. So you want to tighten it so it doesn't move. I don't think it's moving. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just try it. You can try it with the piece that it's kind of broken and you don't want to use it, in case you're not very confident. I haven't tried this either, so I'm going to just do it. So I'm going to move it away. I'm going to turn it on. So make sure there's enough water. So I'm going to press this. see the water coming, and then I'm going to go in, hold it in place so it's like my hand is not close to the cutter. Okay, I think that should work. Yep. So I'm going to do it again. So wait for the water to start flowing. Bring it in. Beautiful. So that was clean. So you see it's kind of very easy, and it's a lot of safety features though, so just cut right light on the line. So that's what I'm going to do now, cut all the pieces. So these are the pieces that I've got from all of this, and then we're going to do the top layer. Bottom is already done, so just do the top, and then we're going to grout it and finish it up. Now for the grout, you have a pre-mixed grout, so you don't have to worry about mixing anything. This too, you get it in Home Depot, a pre-mixed grout. So you just need to make sure that you get the color that you want. So this, we're going with the haystack. It's kind of like a brown that matches the background. So make sure you get that and then use it for grouting. And then when we do that too, I'll show you the video. Then you use a sponge, apply it, wipe it off. So there's nothing on top. There's no haze or anything on it. And we should be pretty much done with it. So that's how I'm going to do. Cut the rest of the pieces, get it ready, then I'm going to finish it up, and then we should be done with the backsplash. I'll show you the finished product. So, so this should be easy. I would say this is a must to hire, to rent instead of getting your own equipment. It's not very expensive. And another important thing that I would say is, they charge you like a $5 fee for in case you damage. I would say it's worth taking it because in case something happens to the machine, then you're not responsible to pay for the damage or the cost of this equipment. So it's worth taking that $5. Because when we were trying to rent this out, another customer had come in and the equipment that he had taken was broken and he had to pay, and he was not very happy about it. So looks like he declined that insurance, and so he had to shell out the cost of the equipment from his pocket, and he was not too happy. So I would say it's worth taking that insurance for your safety, for your peace of mind. So in case you break something, then you don't have to worry. It's just $5. So that's it. So I'm going to cut the rest of the pieces that are here, and then we're going to fit it and come back when we grout it and then see the finished product. Give you an update, like we cut all the pieces that needed to be cut. That came out really well. It was very easy to cut. See if you see nice straight edges for most of it, most of the pieces. So absolutely no issues. Cuts out really well, and even the ones that the remaining pieces, those are not destroyed too. So if you still want to use some of this to fix some gaps, you can still use that. So once you get a hang of it, it becomes pretty easy. So these are all the cut pieces. Some of the things that I wanted to add to using this machine was things like this, like where, you know, I'm not cutting it fully through. So when I do this, like this piece, when I cut it, I can't cut it fully through. If you're going to cut it fully through, it's very easy, but this I can't cut it through. So such things you have to be careful how you're cutting it. And these are kind of small pieces, so they tend to move, so be careful and hold it down. So that's one thing. And the other one is, make sure this the water in the bucket is above the submersible pump, otherwise you're going to burn that. So make sure that be aware of the level of water, and also the water here in this basin here, so it doesn't fill up, because there's over here, if you see, there's like a small groove, so water can kind of go through that, so make sure it doesn't come up to this level. So sometimes you can just be running the blade so often that the water fills up. So that's one thing. And another one that I saw is, like, I'm doing it in my kitchen island. So if you're doing that and I've got hardwood, what happens is the water sprays a little bit when you're cutting, and so the water tends to go here and on the floor. So I didn't want my hardwood floor getting ruined. So I took the weather proofing plastic bag, or whatever you have. So I just put it around here so that the water that's spraying goes on this, and it doesn't go on the floor, so you can just take it off and wipe it. So that's one thing that you need to be aware of when you're using this machine. This one, and then make sure the water level in this bucket is above the pump. So these are the two things that you need to look out for, and then the cuts too. Be aware, so you turn off the blade just at the right moment. That's about it. So then we're done cut most of our pieces. I'm gonna try and show you how I'm cutting this one. I don't know if that'll be useful, but so if you are comfortable with using it freehand, do that so you're able to get a straight edge. So what I would say is bring it close to it, see where the blade would go, and then hold it down, because these pieces, if you see, they're small. So when it cuts through this, this can hang, or like when I turn it around, and then let's say I'm cutting it through this and come, so this can hang, or this can lift up. So be careful when you do that. I would say hold this down so it doesn't flip up. So such cuts, this one you can cut it through, so that's not an issue. It's only when you are cutting through here, because you don't want to cut it all the way through, then you're going to nip this part too, so that you don't want. So you want to stop it right here. So be careful. So what I'm doing is adjust this a little bit, and then bring it closer. So keep it here. Just make sure it is there. If you're not comfortable, tighten this up. But otherwise, if you're comfortable with using it against the blade, just position it. I would say then move the table back, because you want the blade to start running and the water to come before you push the stone into the blade. You don't want the blade running when it's on the stone, so because it can damage the blade and that can be kicked back, so you don't want that. So you want to slowly kind of push the stone into the blade. So I'm right now comfortable with doing this, gotten the hang of it, so it's not very difficult for me to kind of hold on to it. So I'm going to try to take a video of this and do it. Hopefully I still have my appendages intact. Okay, so here we go. I move the thing back, and I'm gonna start. And then I'm gonna have to turn this way and cut this through. So I'm gonna move this edge. Again, make sure the blade is close to this, and then it's not gonna move. Now this is very close to the blade edge, so I'm not very comfortable. So I'm gonna keep this, tighten this up. When you tighten, it tends to move, so kind of be aware of that. So now this is very close to the blade, so I'm not very comfortable holding onto it. So I'm going to use the wood piece that I had. So when that happens, I would suggest you keep like another extension like this and hold it tight against this frame so it doesn't move. So I'm going to cut this and show. So that way you're going to cut these 2 marks, and then once you're done, you will turn over and cut this off. So this is going to go around the switch plates. So this was the only tricky part of this. Most of the cuts were like just straight cuts. So get the blade running, or get the water running, and then slowly push the table into the saw. Okay, I'm going to turn it on. So it makes a nice clean cut. So really kind of very easy. So you got a nice clean cut now. You can turn it over and cut through this way. So I'm going to do it this way. Either you can do it this way, or if you're comfortable with just using it straight. Oh no, I think I have to do it this way because I wanted to cut through this. So again, you can either loosen it and bring it here if you want this to hold it in place. So try to tighten it right after, so that when you tighten this, it kind of tends to move. So nice and tight, and then so make sure it's right down there. Okay, so now here's what I was talking about. See, these are small pieces. Now when it cuts through, these will leave a small piece, so it can lift up. So be careful with that. So try to hold it as much as possible. See, like this one lifts up. So try to hold it down without getting too close to the blade. So I'm going to show you that how I'm cutting that. So I'm turn on the blade. Wait for the wire to start. Like I said, see, it moves sometimes because it's small parts. So hold it back nicely, and then make your cut. Okay. So I have to make sure it's nice and tight and it doesn't move, and you also hold it down with onto this. So I'm going to take it out. Now it should only be till this, so I'm stopping because I can't go through all the way. So that's the tricky part here. So that's pretty much it. Rest of it just straight cuts, very easy to do. So now this is just hanging, so you just break it off, and that's it. So now I'm gonna fit it into the wall and finish up, and then so let me show you what I've done so far. So this is what I've put the tiles here, and what we have is, like I showed you, these mats, the adhesive mat. So instead of using the tin set, you're going to put this adhesive mat, and it comes with a plastic sheet on there. When you're ready to stick, you just take this off, and then you're going to press that into it. So this is the top layers where it wasn't fitting, so that's why I had to cut them to size. So that's what we have done here, and we're going to fit in all these pieces, and then once you're done with all this, then now we're going to use the pre-mixed grout and wipe off the excess, and we should be all done. So using the mat was a big help because I didn't have to hurry. If I had used a thin set, then I probably would have had to hurry through it because the thin set would have dried. But using this adhesive mat helps in buying you time so you can kind of play around with how to place the tiles. So that was very helpful. I didn't have to worry about anything drying up. So I just used the mat and I was just playing around to change around the shapes and the tiles to see which color would match and which one goes. So that it gave me plenty of time to do that. So I didn't have to worry. If I had used thin set, I probably would have had to hurry through it. So the thin set didn't dry. So that way I would say this will be a really good change to do. Instead of using thin set, get this adhesive mat and use it. So it buys you a lot of time to play around. And it also comes off easy. Like if you make a mistake, there's nothing to worry. All that you say, like this has been stuck for about a couple of days now, but if you want to, you can just pull it off. So I can just gently take it off. You know, this it tends to stick to this mesh, so just gently pull it off and then it should come off. Now there's a plastic sheet here, that's why this one didn't stick properly, but otherwise, you know, it tends to stick a little bit, but all that you have to do is just gently pull it off, and then there's nothing for you to worry. So I'm gonna start tiling this part, so then when you are ready to tile, take out these plastic sheets and it just sticks to that itself. So if you make a mistake, don't worry, nothing to worry, just gently pull it off and then it should come off, and then you can make the correction, whatever you're doing. So even if it is like a couple of days, it still tends to come off. It can stick a little bit, like see over here it's stuck. So just make sure to peel off the adhesive at the back and then gently pull it and it should come off. So it's very forgiving in that way. So I would say instead of doing thin set, use this adhesive mat. Very, 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 very helpful and easy to do it. So I'm going to finish up the rest of the backsplash now. So this is where I'm at. I'm still using the kitchen, so I didn't empty it out. So my kitchen is still messy. But this is what we have done. And then we're going to, these are the pieces that we have cut out. So we're going to fit all this around the switchboard and all that. We're going to put the grout and we should be done. So I'll show you the finished product. So we're going to try and grout this using a pre-mixed grout that's available at Home Depot. So for this one, since it has like the tan, so we got the haystack, so it's going to have this brown color. So this is pre-mixed, so you need to take it, mix it up. So it looks like it's got it's sand in it because these tiles are bigger, so the gaps are bigger. So you want grout with sand in it. So make sure it doesn't dry up. So mix it up really well before using. So the color is even. So if the gaps between the tiles are smaller, like if you're using a glass tile, you can use just the one without the non-sand one.
What I had was a job, well, several jobs really, but what I really wanted was a career.
So the things you would need is like a trowel if you have it. So I'm just going to use this plastic knife as a trowel and for mixing and then getting the grout onto the float. And then you want to float like this with a foam bottom and then a sponge in a bucket of water. So you're going to make sure that you first mix it really well before applying, and then get the grout onto the float and then apply it at an angle, like a 45-degree angle, and try to get it deep into the grout, so it goes in and not just on the top. And then after you apply, just wipe off the excess material so it doesn't leave a haze. You need to make sure the sponges just, it's not wet, that it's just damp. You squeeze out all the water and then wipe it. And that's all there is to it. So I'm gonna get this on the floor, just a little.
It's your sleight of hand. It's your great escape.
Go in there and get it. Now before that, I just wanted to let you know, it's going to drip, it's going to fall on your counter and all that. So if I have granite here, I don't want that getting all this grout falling on it and then have to clean it up. So just make sure you put something to cover your countertop. So I have a cardboard here so that anything that drips there, you can just take it off and throw it. So this is where you go at an angle, cover everything out, go nice and deep into the so even if you got like excess, you apply it and then you can just kind of wipe it off with the float, remove the excess, and you're going to just repeat that process all over again. Just work it into the joints. So if you mix it really well, it'll kind of be easy to apply without much waste. So any excess, just wipe it off. You use the float to get it off as much as possible. And then after a couple of minutes, you just wipe it with a wet sponge so you don't leave a haze for the ball. So I'm filling up all the top corners. So I'm going to continue doing this, and then when I'm done, I'll show you what I'm going to do to wipe it off. So that's pretty much it. So just make sure you get it deep inside the joints. And it's just not superficial. So continue doing it at an angle, and then it should glide smooth. So as you're doing it, just take out the excess too.